Welcome to the club. My name is John, and I will be your host for this meeting. Just to give you a little recap of the last couple of meetings, the most recent meeting, we were talking about the investment perspectives that will come in your email. In the old days, they used to mail them to you, and these will come from the firms that manage the investments. They will have a write up by the fund manager, typically talk about the objectives and some of the outcomes of the investment. So, wanted to make sure that you're aware of those. I have been reading those as they come in because remember, I've been doing this for a while. But you, as a new investor, you want to get familiar with um, reading over that material so you know what the top 10 holdings are. The reason why is as you uh, start to invest, you may want to diversify and you kind of want to know what you have and be able to track it. As well as prior to that, we were talking about the compounding gains, how the investments will pay out capital gains when they are doing really well. If you have a down market like 2022, some of the investments or the mutual funds, they may not pay any capital gains or dividends. I've had that happen to me on a couple of them, at least one over at the Charles Schwab account. The Harbor Capital one year didn't pay at all. The year prior to that, it had paid $1,000 in capital gains. So, going to be very important. It will help you keep track of your investments. Remember, we're all doing this together. You basically just get started and you just let it roll like a little snowball and you just keep investing. But the other thing that is very, very important are the statements. So in my case, over with Charles Schwab, I have the statements coming in, they are mailed to me. And what I do is I basically have a large book right here, and I got them divided up in the folders here. And what I do is I go ahead and I have a old style hole puncher. So we're going to talk about the Charles Schwab account and these statements. So when these statements come in, um, you want to take a look at them so you can see how your investment's doing. The reason why is every now and then you could get yourself into an investment where you're putting money in and you're putting money in and it doesn't grow. But the rest of the stock market, like the S&P 500, it may be doing extremely well. And once we go through this demo today, the material that I'm covering, you'll see why you want to keep an eye on it. And so what I'm going to do now is just show you how I filed this, and we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to hop in to a screen share. So this is from Charles Schwab, and this is a statement, and it ended on January 31st and it needs to be filed. Now, there's two options for you. These are available in a PDF format. So I got the holes punched here, and there's an area that I'll be able to put this in. But we're going to talk about how these statements will help you track your investments. So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. We're going to talk about how this fund ended on the 31st and where it is today. So just stick with me, and you are with the Retiring Investing Club. Thank you. So you would get logged into your brokerage account, and then you just go up here for your statements. If you're looking to see if there's any activity in there as far as dividends, capital gains, that's going to be under transaction history. But we're going to focus on the statements because that's what we're talking about. You scroll down here. Now, the statement that I punched the holes in is for 131. And this is the most recent statement. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And this is the statement. It comes in, it looks like this. And we're just going to take a look at some of the cash here as an investment. This isn't a money market. The reason I have that is that as I was talking about, I track these investments, the ticker symbols, and I'll look to see if the market is really, really, really doing well. when they get to talk about, oh, this is the 8th week in a row it's been up and such, it's at all-time high. Some of these mutual funds will peak and be at their all-time high. And what you could do is, if you got 3 or 4 of them, you could sell $400 out of each one, and that'll get you up to 1,200. The rest of this, which is pretty much what I did, it was like I think I got sold made two sales of $600. So I was 1,200, but I've been putting these in CDs and money markets, and I got it up to 1334. This is how the retirees who do all the channels around here, that's how they help build up their cash reserves. Now, that is in a money market. It has not ever had the taxes paid on. I would have to pay taxes, but that is going to be income. That's the income. The mutual funds are the growth portion of it. But as you can see, uh, this account, if we scroll down, you can see it was down a little bit. So the sheet I have here is 16,468. And at the end of the February 28th statement, it's down to 16,025. Now, depending on the economic um, information and state of the economy, it's what I really should say, all depends on how well the market's. Now, the market's been getting hammered this week, and this is the evening that the president's speaking. He's speaking right now. So I'm going to show you what happened to the account. And this sometimes will happen, so don't get discouraged with your investing. We go over here to our positions. We'll see that this thing is down to 15,538. So from the statement that I got in front of me, it's down it's about $50 shot. It's $950 is what it's down. And you can see that the gains are even down compared to the statement. So they had 2,936 in gains. We go back to the statement, and it should have something over there, and it's got 3422 previously as a month. So the investments will go up and down, but you just got to hang in there. And we're going to take a look at one that we got last week over at the Fidelity. This is the Roth IRA that we got, the financial services. It's down 4.5%. It hung in there for a while. It did dip down, but this is tanking, like Dwayne would say over retiring 500K. He calls us tanking. But after the congressional speaking by Trump, we'll see what happens later in the week, and we'll see what happens. The financial markets, if they like it, this thing could be up by 5 or 10% by the end of Friday. So the number one thing I want you to get out of this is you gotta come up with a method to keep these statements. And this is a long-term commitment for you, because you may have to pull these. You get divorced, they're gonna want to see every statement from the first time you met. That's just the way it is. They're entitled to half. So it doesn't matter if you made all these investments before you got married, your wife gets half. And the financial institutions are only going to have these available, like I'm pulling right now, for 7 years. You don't have this stuff, you're going to have to pay for them to pull it out of archive. So I wanted to make sure we covered this. It's very, very important, and get you looking. Again, we got our ticket symbol. Eventually, hopefully, you will start throwing those in the spreadsheet, because we're going to cover something else that's going to blow your mind once we start getting further into the meetings that we have when it comes to tracking these and these gains. Okay, so this is John with the Retiring Investing Club, and I am going to go ahead and jump on out. Thanks, and give me some likes, subscribe, and I'll have another meeting coming up. We'll have two more next week. Thanks.